Trying to remove the music here. Greetings, everyone. Tommy Hawksblood here, calling from the Big Island of Hawaii. Co-host Tina Bird. I'm going to let her start off. How are you, Tina? Greetings.
Greetings, Tommy. How are you? I hope everything's fine now in Hawaii. I'm Tina Bird here in Southampton in the UK, broadcasting to Tommy Hawksblood in Hawaii. We have our weekly show Encounters here on a Thursday evening. We've got to welcome John, who's in our chat show. He's in our chat this evening already asking questions, so I'll just answer them before I crack on to anything. John's asked if Richard Doherty is any good. Actually, he's very good. Richard used to be part of the CIA. So you can look on YouTube, you can look on like Netflix or anything like that has or the Discovery Channel, I think it is, I'm not quite sure. So he does documentaries and that talks about his job, what he did, what he's seen, what he's observed. I've emailed him about abduction and things like that. So Richard's a very informed guy. If you look on Tina Bird, international author, or Encounters on Facebook, you will find T.A. Bird. You will find pictures of me and Richard on there. Very informative, worth a try. Very good, watchy stuff. Brilliant, knows his stuff. Absolutely brilliant. And I hope that answers your question, John. So tonight, to kick off the show, we have little bits and pieces we try to catch up on and look back on news and things like that. But there's been rarely anything. Recently, just this week, they're releasing stuff from 2013 about a contractor who saw something in Ontario. I think he was a White House or something like that, or a contractor to someone, and he saw a Spanish-shaped UFO. So. But that's from 2013. It's a long time ago. So there's nothing new coming out again. So whether it's all been withholding information, a news blanket, there's been no follow-up from Denmark or Sweden about UFOs. It's mainly about the war with Russia and Ukraine. Again, hardly anything about that, about UFOs, crashes, crop circles even, because I live in Hampshire. Normally up the road, there's been masses of crop circles, no mention yet, but it's probably the end of April, May. Normally, about this time of year, they start appearing. So we keep an eye out for that. I'd like to thank everyone that's wrote into the show last couple of weeks and asked different questions. Again, tonight we had one with us, which was John. But yeah, so there's been nothing out there. I've had a few people buy my book online and ask questions. I encourage everyone to ask questions. Do your own research, guys. Don't take anyone's word for it. Read the book, read information, watch documentaries, get to know the people who's telling you the accounts, who are investigating their accounts, their histories and things like that. Have a look at things like that. But there's so many different elements to so many different fields of ufology. You have investigation or follow-up, the science aspect, the human aspect, abduction, classifications, medical evidence. So there are so many different parts of ufology. One kind of category. There's a lot of different pieces. People just like the history of it. But I, like you can see behind me, some absolutely brilliant books that I've been gifted along the way. I could go for a few if you'd like me to. But in fact, I'll do that now for you quickly. Just to so Fire in the Sky. So this is when I met Travis Walton. He signed the book for me as well. So there you go. Thank you, Travis. I met Travis a couple of times, and we spoke to me about hypnotic regression. But that's his book. It tells you about his account. They said they buffed it up a bit for the movies and films like that. But he's another abductee. I'll tell you what was a good book. This is actually a find. A friend of mine recommended it, and I couldn't find it anywhere. It's by John E. Mack. There it is, called Abduction. Absolutely brilliant book. If you could get it. Again, I have some friends in different fields. I'm just going to take this down, so excuse me. Like Ben Emily James. Fantastic. He's wrote about Roswell Revealed. So he's a friend of mine. You can find him. He does podcasts. You can find him on YouTube and things like that. So in other accounts, Ben has a few more books out by now. Brilliant, brilliant guy. I highly recommend reading his books. Eric Von Daniken. I love Eric. He personally messaged me once, but I've met him quite many times again. If you look, I've got nearly most of his books that he's signed for me. Amount of times I've seen him and Giorgio talk and speak. Personally met him, had time. Absolutely brilliant. His wealth of knowledge and investigations have been absolutely brilliant. I'm trying to find where he signed this one. There you go. So I've got quite a few of them. Brian Forrester, absolutely different types. So here, Brian is. So there you go. That's different times again. I've met like Brian Forrester. He does about Nazca. He does things about Peru, Beyond the Black Sea. His books are absolutely fantastic. The Council 7. That was I watched. That was someone else's book. But again, do your research, guys. I exchanged books with people. This is by Carrie Kinder. This is called Light Years. It's about ufology. So you don't need to get old books, new books. You can get them for free online. You can get my Kindle edition free on Kindle Unlimited if you wish to read that. Mary Rodwell. Now this cover. I met Mary as well, and if you look on YouTube, she's done a little shout out for me as well. Absolutely lovely lady and her story. I was talking about her and how she got into the field and what she did. I actually have a picture which is hung in my hallway, signed by Lloyd Canning, who did the front for her. I met him, a lovely friend of mine, and he did the cover for this, and Mary wrote the book. So I have a lovely image signed by both of them of this. So there's Mary Rodwell's book, guys. Brilliant, lovely lady, knows her stuff out of this world, Mary Rodwell. And again, another my friend of mine, I met him a couple of times actually. He does stuff now. Paul Sinclair, there you go, Proof Truth. So this is different type of phenomenon and things like that. Go out. I mean, when I go to all these, when I go to like events and things like that, I meet people, like to meet the same people, keep in contact with them, do Zoom calls with them, get to know what they do, listen to their talks and what they're talking to you about. But he does loads of stuff on YouTube and things like that. There you go, Paul Sinclair, really nice chap as well. I can't do anything. Oh, I love this guy. So Daryl Sims, I've met him, lovely gentleman, and I met him. There you go. And if again, I've got pictures of me and all the guys I've just mentioned. Brilliant. He also has a book out, guys. Read that. He's like a UFO investigator in America, wears a big Texan hat. You can find him on YouTube, movies, documentaries, things like that, I think. So, yeah, that's absolutely brilliant. Mike Barr. So there he is. I've met him a few times, actually. The Triangle. He's done other brilliant pieces of work. I've met him a few times. This was 2019. There you go. And again, I've had some pictures, and I think I've met him a few other years. David Hatcher Childress. Now, I've met him a few times. I've got quite a few of his books, actually. I've got one there and one there, different ones he has, and I've got a couple more. I met him and his lovely wife as well. I met him at events, talks, brilliant. Sign my books again. A good old chit chat. This one's to my partner, Marco. I've got one for him, one for me. Brilliant, lovely man. Full of knowledge. Does his research. Got Graham Randall, got 3 of his books, and there you go. So there's one of his. different types. So you need to expand your knowledge. Again, I share my books. I'll read up on what people are saying, their history, but different types. These are all from different aspects, from people that have been around the world, seen different things. Phil Kinsella and his brother Ronald Kinsella, actually, are brilliant books. Met both these lovely gentlemen, and I've watched them speak as well. Fantastic, brilliant brothers they are. Fantastic, have a great story. Jason Gleaves. Here's another one there, UFO Encounters. You can buy that. I've met this lovely gentleman. Good book, guys. Please read it. And a few more in ufology. So most of these books, some of them have been given to me and I've bought. Quite a few there. This is one of my favourites. It's a bit big, like my big one there. So this is from Russ Kellett. He's known as the ET Rider. He's also an abductee like me. I've spoken to Russ many times, and he does podcasts and his own interviews. Very good, full of knowledge, and he tells you just like me about his own point of view. Another guy I met, he did stuff from the White House. It was Don Schmidt, or Donald Schmidt, but Don, there you go, from Roswell. Got that, met him, lovely guy. Met him. Also got some physics books. God, I've got so many different books. I've got these are some other good books. You got The Day. This was recommended to me by Linda Moulton Howe. The Day. Or was it Paula? What's her name? Can't remember now. I do apologise. It may have been Paula. I can't remember her name. Read The Day After Roswell, which is what I did. Fantastic book. Bought that on eBay, and I don't just read it once. I read it once to go back, and I will read it and read it again. And this is a fantastic recent book, come out recently, is this one. It's by Gary Hesseltine. He's an ex-police officer. It's called Non-Human. Gary actually gave me this book, and it's a very expensive book to buy, but it's packed full of knowledge. What Gary does, there's his picture on the back. Guys, there you go. So Non-Human, Gary Hesseltine. I've met this gentleman. He runs UFO Truth magazine, which I've appeared in, I think, 4 issues. Absolutely packed to the brim of information, knowledge, research, and he tells you what it is. So, when you go to these things, you get to meet people. You get to meet lovely people like Gary, who's on the right side of ufology. He sits on so many things and does so many things. And you could continue and go on and on and on. And I've got many other books there from Marshall Van Summers as well, and lots of history books in between that as well. So I like the history of it all and things like that. So go to places, meet people. Tommy himself has many other books. If you look up Tommy Hawksblood, and I think you can still buy them on Amazon, but if not, Tommy's going to put his email address up there in a minute. I'm not sure if he's done it already, but you can buy Tommy's books as well. Tommy's written so many books. I've just written like this, The Guardians of Light and The Checkpoint. So Sands of Time. He's read that. That's a big book, but that's just a little review, guys. So books have been given to me, or you can pick up in charity shops. If you go to events, you pay to get in somewhere. Sometimes people say, read this, and definitely worth the read. But it's your interest in it. So if you're interested enough to go and see the speakers, buy their books. If you're there, buy the books. I've seen many speakers, loads of historical people in ufology in the last 10 or 20 years I've met and taken advice from them and spoke to them. So Tommy it's hawksblood1@aol.com. Guy, look, Tommy, I'm going to get Tommy to put a list up one day with pictures of all of his books. Guys, just buy them and read them. And he's got free books you can get as well. But books, I'm not just pushing books, but books you can get for free anywhere as well. It's about knowledge, gaining knowledge and understanding about the field you're interested in. You need to know background, context, and things like that. If you want to, if you really want to understand and really want to get to those questions, or have your eyes opened. These people that have been places and seen places some humans will never be and get to see or go, and experiences that they've had in their lives. And this is a perfect opportunity through a book to tell you that. So apart from going to see lectures, speaking to people, sharing your ideas, telling your account and your stories, getting it out, getting someone, being part of a community and reading a book, that there is so much more to it than just having an idea. it's speaking to people, being part of a community, going places, get yourself out, befriend people, make friends, talk to people. You know, in whatever part of ufology that you want to be a part of, do your research. And there's great starting points there, great, great different parts of it. So John's just asked a question about my radiation. So I have two little things here. So I have a Geiger counter. So there it is there. Okay, so this is a bit different from my one. Sorry, excuse me, I've got to put my glasses on. I'm sipping tea first. 1 second. Right. So there it is there. Geiger counter. There it is there. Okay. I'm going to switch it on. Dust on that. I'm just going to switch it on for a second. And there it is on. So what has happened, you'll get a background reading and it'll start detecting, and it tells you, it'll give you a little readout. And that's all. I'm going to leave that down there for a second. So I'm not sure if you can see it there. And then this one, now, Tommy, believe it or not, this was a joke. I thought Tommy was joking. When I first started the show, Tommy, and he interviewed me, I think Teresa, someone else interviewed me. So that noise, you can hear that little tiny clicking, is actually detecting radiation. I'm not sure if you can hear that. I'm not sure why, but it shouldn't be, but it is. So Tommy says to me, I need to get electrical magnetic field tester or electrical radiation tester. And I thought he was joking, but I've been so ill. I had radiation poison symptoms and that. Didn't feel too good. And I actually took Tommy's advice. I thought, no, he's joking. So went on Amazon. Never seen one before. It was, I think, about £19-20, maybe even a little bit less. I'm not quite sure. It was a few years ago. This is my second one. The first one, I think it fell in a sink or dropped it in my tea or something. I'm not quite sure what happened to it. Anyway, but on Amazon, and Tommy got the same one. So to turn it on, push that little red button there. So I turned it on. There you go. Now, at the top there, you will see it says volts. That's the volts per meter at the top. And the bottom one there is micro Teslas, as you can see. Now, they're both reading 0 at the moment. It's not picking up anything from my screen because I have a safe screen computer that doesn't let off electrical magnetic radiation or anything like that, so it doesn't harm you. But did you just see the top bit jump? When I move away from the screen and start holding this thing closer to me, it starts going up sometimes. And then that is just at the top is electrical magnetic field. So, and then the bottom one here is micro Teslas, and that's the electrical magnetic field. So there's actually nothing near my computer, but when the second you start holding it near me, just going to put it near me. You can see it's going up already. There you go. And then I'm going to go to the other side. Now, Tommy has one, identical one, and he has one in where he is, and in Hawaii, and I have one, and we test it on each other. But so the farther I hold it away from me, it goes down to nothing, and then I'm going to go closer to me. There you go. So my background radiation, as you see, at one point was 20. It's now dropped to 6. So I'm not quite sure why it was getting 20. It's going down to 4. So it'll give you an average, and then you can see the green scape down the bottom. That is so there you go. And each one of those little clicks, that's a Geiger counter click. So, went to 10 then. 14. Oh no. 18. Perhaps I should put it down. It's near me. It's got a 20. Oh my lord. So that's now 24, 26, Tommy. Have you seen this?
Yes, I can't show my screen for some reason. But when I put it on the screen on your face, it goes on radiation.
I'm going off on both of them. I'm not quite sure what's going on. But when it does beep, it's safe. When it starts beeping and flashing, that means it says on there, not safe, it's hazardous. So I have a hazardous reading from my neck and brain. So I hope that answers your question, John. But Tommy, I'm going to hand it over to Tommy now. He wants to have a little chit chat with you. But guys, read, do your research, do your background, and get into the subject. With that, I'm going to hand it over to Tommy. Tommy.
All right, everybody. What I want to get into, remembrance of a particular. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you cut out there for a minute. That's all right.
All right. Well, remember somebody really important in the UFO world. It was Sean David Morton. He passed away last Christmas. Uh, I'm not going to go into all the details, but he was arrested falsely with 150 false charges. Not one of them had any proof in it. When he went to court, they wouldn't let him testify. On top of that, there was not one witness or one proof of anything they said. And they put him in jail for a couple of years. But when he was in jail, they were torturing him and doing all kinds of things to him. They had to let him go because he was dying when he came out. The only reason why I'm bringing this up, because he was the most important speaker in the UFO world, next to maybe Bob Dean. All right. And Bob Dean is also gone now. But what I'm saying it for, his two books, well, the one main book that he wrote explains the whole UFO definition, why, how, where, when it started, and what came out of it, who was involved with it all through history since 1900. All right. And how up until 1940 something when it became MJ12 and all that got involved and everything else that started going down. But why I'm saying that, I'm hated in the UFO world. The reason why, because I don't like people that tell stories and lie, and I will not deal with them, which means 90% of the people speaking in the UFO world. Ancient aliens have been on for 15 years now. All right. I pulled out right around the time they started. But when I pulled out, all the top speakers were dead. No lie. 15 of my best friends in the UFO world were taken out. One was in jail. Well, two were in jail. One was in a nut house. All right. And during that time frame, 1996 was the biggest change in the movement of the whole UFO world. 100 UFO people were taken out within 1 year. They also took out another 100 of the top nuclear scientists during that time frame. It was a really sad time for the change of what went down in the UFO world. MJ12 is still active, still involved, still on top of everybody in the government, including the president. But people don't talk about it. UFO people have no clue. They didn't deal with the right people. They tell stories. They write books on nothing. I read so many books, and I'm tired of reading junk and listening to stories that go nowhere. Over the past 25 years, did you ever see a real alien or a real ship on the ground? Well, my friend, all right, he's in that house in Long Island right now, John Ford. All right, he's been in there since 1996, the same year that Phil Schneider died. Everything happened that year. But when he was put in the nut house, I saw the video. He shot the video of a ship that crashed on Long Island, and the bodies were laying around it and everything else. It disappeared when they put him in jail, and now they're saying he was insane and he was going to poison people and all that. But in the same interim, Sean David Morton was considered the top psychic from 1995 on. Michael Scallion was the top psychic up until 1995, and then suddenly he kind of faded out. But Sean was on Coast to Coast every month, and he was at every UFO conference at the head of the conferences and everything else. But he has something that nobody else did. He was the one that went to Area 51 and filmed the motherships come in every month. He would rent a van, take 4 or 5 people in the van up to the mountain, and have them all watch the ship come in. All right, once they snagged them there, which was a little bit later, they bought all that land and created what you know now as Area 51. But up until then, it was the desert. They didn't think they needed that much protection. But the giant mothership came in and landed there, and he would bring people to watch it. So when they say people talk about Area 51 and this, that, well, I was inside it. No, he was on Montel Williams' TV show talking to Montel Williams, and they put up these fake things. Well, he's not real. They had some guy who was supposed to be in the government. Well, this is all fake information. Then they showed Sean's documents and everything else. But he said to Montel Williams, I want you to come out. I'll give you a date when you have to come out. It was in December. And he says, I want you to come out, and you'll get to see the mothership land there. Well, December came, and he called Strawn up, says, I can't come out there. He went out there by himself the month later during the day, came back and did another show on TV saying, well, there's nothing out at Area 51. I know the four-star general there. Nothing's happening there. All right. Well, obviously, he was a nobody, and why would he get any information? Sean went there on top of the mountain filming and watching the ships come in. So, when he did that show, he really put Sean down because he said, well, there's nothing really going on there, which there was, and it always is. And there's Area 52, 3, and 4 now, if you don't know that either. And here's things, people. You listen to these people go on and on about stories, and well, they're still trying to prove UFOs are from outer space. While big name people, I'm not even going to say all their names, believe that they could be from China, or they could be from Russia, which is the most biggest bull story there is in the UFO world. Ancient Aliens doesn't show anything important. For 15 years, they show the same old garbage. They don't show any real aliens. Sure, everybody can film a ship. Go out at night and you can film a ship. That's easy to do. But to prove that there's an alien flying it or it lands or anything else, I was next to a ship when I was young. An alien came in my house. So I know it was real. But see, when I was 20, I was working with abductees. People, women mainly, that lost their children and were able. Today, nobody talks about it. Nobody confesses about it. And there's nothing being said in the hospitals. Tina has a story, but even her story is blocked by the government. They filmed her operation, but she can't even see it. People, when I was working with these women, they lost their child at almost 9 months pregnant. And when they went back to the hospital the day after they had the sonogram done, there was no evidence of her even being pregnant. And I'm talking about multiple women. They would take her back up on a ship, said they'll get to see their child one time. And then one lady had her second child taken a year and a half later. But they proved it then. But they weren't going public. People didn't want to hear that kind of a story. And in the UFO world, which should be talking about important things, they're not. Well, whether there's who's driving the ship, no. What are they doing, period? Why are they here? They destroyed every race that was here since the beginning of time. And it wasn't just the Anunnaki, like Zachariah Sitchin put out his book, which is so far from the truth. People that write stories don't always tell the truth. Very seldom do they. Do they even have the truth? The Bible was written by a bunch of men that twisted what Jesus was saying and doing. We're so corrupted as far as finding the truth out. I mean, going out and reading everybody's book is not going to help you. I'm telling you the two books that explain everything. Sean David Martin's book, Sands of Time. Fred Bell's book, Rays of Truth, Crystals of Light. He worked for the government since he was 14. He designed the HARP system for the government. All right? He was working with an alien race, and he never bragged about it. But when he did, when he was on TV, on, what was it? He was talking to Alex Jones. No. Who was it? Can't even say the name. He was a governor. He was a wrestler. He was everything.
Of Jesse Ventura.
Jesse Ventura's show. The day after he was taken out, he was in a hotel room. He didn't even get to leave, and he was dead. All right.
Yeah, that's true.
On the beginning of that show, he goes to him. He goes, Fred, aren't you worried about the government? And he says, no, I work for the government. And then he says, well, what about me? He goes, well, you're too high up for them to take you out. Next day, he was dead in the hotel room. All right, people, I knew all these people, all right, when they were all alive. I lost 16 friends, and I'm not talking about people that were just nobodies in the UFO world. The top speakers and everything else along the way. My best friend, I'm not going to say his name, worked for NASA. We were playing UFOs and making chips when we were little kids. But he worked for NASA. He came to my friend's house with me. I brought him over to show him UFO pictures and aliens and everything else. And he goes, well, I'm not really allowed to get involved with this. The next day, his whole family was gone. All right. I got a document from them, sent it to him the day after, and things like that. I can prove some of the things. But, when it comes to a real alien, I was young. I didn't have cameras when I was young. And later on, aliens aren't stupid people, whether people think they are. There's multiple races here now. The ones that are important are the 9 races that are attacking and playing with this planet, not the ones that are supposed to be good and all these good aliens walking around dealing with people, being friendly and saying, well, we're going to take you through the universe and we're going to show you. But they don't explain their diet. They don't explain why they're here. They don't explain anything, and they never talk about that. So, yeah, when I talk to people in the UFO world, Sean brought me on Coast to Coast with him every other month. But again, people never like me because the second somebody opened their trap, I could go into every single famous person right now in the UFO world, Bob Dylan, you name them, and they have zero proof. They never were next to an alien, were never next to a ship, and they read and listen to other people's stories. I had thousands of stories. I dealt with so many UFO people in my life, but 90% of them are great storytellers. But that doesn't mean they're evil, bad. It means they're programmed, which I use the word, we call it, in the UFO world, all right? Experiences, not abductees, experiences. Now, Tina...
I hate that word. I absolutely
know
hate
you
that
do.
word.
Because these people claim that they met aliens and they went through space. You can't get in a ship and drive through space. Your body cannot deal with it, people, whether you realize it or not. I've been trying to get in touch with Musk for almost a year now, dealing with all kinds of things from him and stuff, but I don't know how much of it's real because he wanted to fly me out to Texas. I said, okay, I don't like flying. I can only stay for a very short time. He goes, how about 4 hours? I said, great. Then the next day he was trying. I've been trying to get in touch with Musk for over a year, and he won't reply. But he get all these people on his site, putting his site up, Tesla site and all these things, Musk site, and it's all fake people. So, in the UFO world, and I'm not going to say all the other names, like the top UFO who exposed the Tic Tac. Well, he promised to come on my show, but I didn't really ask him to come on lately because I don't think he has anything important to say, or can he say anything important, which is sad. In the UFO world, if you're trying to expose information, you can't, just so you know. Now, when he came out and he says, well, I can't say that, but it's what I believe. He can say what he believes, but he can't say what is real. So that's totally useless. So the people that I met, and I've been in this since I was 6 years old, people, Tina was as well, but she had a different thing going on with her in the UFO world. I had a different thing as well. I didn't do anything to make money. I didn't interview and work with these people to make money. I worked with them to deal with what they were going through. I was dealing with people with missing time, and you don't hear about that much anymore. All right?
Sorry to interrupt you. John's asked this question in the chat room about hybrids. Also, I don't know if you want to talk to people a bit about hybrids. If they're watching this for the first time, they may not know what a hybrid is, or they may want a bit more information. Can you fill them in, Tommy?
Well, do you want to talk about hybrids right now, and I'll continue after you?
Yeah, so guys, so hybrids. So John's just asked a question in the chat room. And in the world of ufology, hybrids means, as exactly as the word was sound, it's a what people call like a cloning or a test tube baby as such of human DNA and a mixture of alien DNA. Yeah, people said robots. Don't think I've seen a robot, but I've definitely seen hybrids. Now, being an abductee, I don't like the word experiencer. Anyone can have a good experience eating an ice cream. So, no, to me, an abductee is a person who's taken against their will, but just to clarify that. Now, a hybrid, in my experience, from what I've seen, is when they took my DNA without my consent, they took parts from within inside my body without my consent and used them to make a half human, a very human looking baby. It was me. It was the clone and spitting image of me with their DNA. She was them inside. The outside, she was me. The inside, she was them. So it's telepathy. But to see embryos, originally I've seen embryos, tiny little things in like little size of 50p, little jars or whatever they were, and they were microscopic, like small, very, very, very small, tiny fetuses they'd made, thousands of them. I've seen millions upon millions of it in a ship of God knows who they are. This whole absolutely huge, beyond this world, massively big ship was just filled with embryos going to this place. They wanted to raise these babies. So, and then when I was on this metal table, couch, bed, it wasn't really a bed, it was like a table. And I was sat up a bit. This thing, this white being came over with this baby, and it was me. It was a spitting image clone of me. And when she opened her eyes was black. It was all me. She had all this hair. She looked very, very pink. Her skin looked very, very pink. And as they kind of held her up to me, she spoke to me like telepathically. We had like what I call a link. Yeah, and it's traits of them and traits of human beings, and they've kind of amalgamated them both to make a human hybrid, a 50-50, if you like. So that's what hybrid means. And yes, I've seen one of my own. But it's what else they're making of hybrids. I mean, if you just look and just think of an image at the moment, if like of Egypt, you see like the Gobernubus with a human body, if you like, with an animal dog head. Is that a mask, or is it hybridization? I don't know, but definitely the clones they made were us as humans and them on the inside. So it must be our outer shell or vessel, whatever it is they're using, that they cannot do to make them better. I don't think it's to enhance the human species anyway. So that's what my understanding of hybrid. But yeah, again, to answer robots, I haven't seen what I would call a robot, or robotics, if you like. I've seen creatures, what I would call creatures, are these white glowing little beings about 3 foot tall, and thousands upon thousands of these hybrid babies in like this incubation giant black shiny egg thing, with babies in it. They were grown babies, and this embryonic fluid, which they said they couldn't make to the same level as a human. So I know that it's synthetic embryonic fluid that they were growing these babies in, but they were human-looking babies. They were the outside shell of a human, but inside they were them, and all the babies could speak telepathically, which I found amazing. So like little pipsqueak voices. So that's what I know of hybrids, and what I've seen. So that's all really I can attest to, is what I've seen and what I've experienced myself. Other people may have different view on that, but but I didn't consent to being taken. I didn't consent to have blood, ovum, DNA, parts of my body taken at any time. So where does that leave me? Your clones? No, I haven't seen since that incident. No, since that time aboard the craft ship area, wherever they took me, I haven't seen her at all. And the ones on this huge ship, they took me to sea, and they showed me the destination. They took me to this destination where they're going to send these, or showed me in my head, destination where they're going to take these babies to grow them. Apparently they keep them in this light so they don't grow like a paralyzed state, and then when they get there, they take them out of the light to grow them. I presume in these like egg incubator things that I saw to start a new race, new population. Obviously they're not humans, but they are human shells, but they're starting a new race with us on the outside and them on the inside. So but I do know that they can't make human embryonic fluid to the same level as a human. I do know that. And I don't think they know, even still. They were showing me images of my head. It was amazing that I understood what they said. They were answering my questions. If you think something, we have a thought, that's a question to them, and they answer you in kind of the same way. But being in their link is so fast, it's overwhelming. The information is passed within a second. I think they had to dumb it down a lot to kind of show me images. They show me images of male and female and other things very, very quickly, and symbols and what have you. But yeah, very quickly. But no, I haven't seen her since that day. Like I said, she took this image with her eyes. When she linked with me, I was seeing out of my eyes, and we linked. And it was darkness, completely black darkness in on her side. Couldn't see anything, but she took a picture and she showed me, and I said, could I see it? And she showed me the image in my head. I looked like I had a rag on. I looked like I've been dragged for a bush backwards. I looked very red in the face. I looked awful, and I said, what have you done that for? And she said, so the others would know where they came from. And this picture contained what she was communicating to me, that it would contain like my heart rate, my pheromone rate, my hormone rate, what I looked like, skin tone, eye cut. It contained everything in this image. So it's a lot of information they could pass in this one image. It wasn't just an image, it was like encoded, like a taste, like a pheromone. It had everything in this one image that they could pass in what I call the link to each other. So and they could do that at an age of a baby and pre-birth, because these little babies, when I saw these ones in this like clone egg thing, I've drawn a picture of it. They were communicating with each other. And another thing I found interesting was that the ones that had taken me, I'll call it like the one that knows me, or the little white things that took me, they didn't know how I knew that they were all female. That really freaked them out. They didn't know how I don't know how I knew. I just knew that they were only claiming females. They were only females, and all of these little hundreds of eggs, they were only these females. So that really perplexed. They did not like that. They was inside my head, all of them like searching, because they didn't know how I knew that it was a female. And to hear the little pipsqueak voices, they were all communicating. They had their own little hive, their own little information, and their own talking to each other in the same voices. We just got someone else, one of our viewers that hasn't popped in for a while, and I'll chat with him. I'll leave it there. I'm just going to have a quick shout out to Tinfoil Hatwear. Hello, guys. I haven't seen you in a while, and it's what happened to fake alien invasion? Good question. Good question. I think that a lot of things have overridden that. I think they were getting to the point, or getting to the whereabouts of that, and other things have taken over, like the presidential election in America. But yeah, it's good to see you. Thanks for coming on. We were off the air for a while, guys, so I must apologise because I had very ill health, and I've been in and out of hospital, and I lost a family member this last year or so. It's not been good, but I'm going to hand it back to Tommy, who's on mute. I don't know if he knows that. But it's been good to see you guys, and welcome back, Tommy.
Greeting everybody back into the site. But I want to say one thing about the fake invasion. There's one person responsible for creating that, and his name's Stephen Greer. All right. He's against our government. He's against what they do, what they did, and he has no clue what they really did. So everything he says is a lie. The fake invasion they're going to plan. The only way the government can plan a fake invasion is get real aliens to walk down the street shooting laser beams at us. But that's not going to happen. I mean, we shot holograms in space already and things like that, but that's not going to create an invasion. An invasion means they start blowing up things. That's not going to happen. The whole idea of Stephen Greer, well, the government's going to plan, they try to cover up everything they did, including going to the moon. You know who put out all the documents saying we didn't go to the moon? The U.S. government did. And that came right out of where the launch pad was. They created all these documents and everything else, but it was Japan that said, no, we got all your pictures that weren't blocked out, and they sent them back to the United States, so they couldn't say they lost them. But getting back to what's happening right now. I've been in this all my life, okay? When I lived in Jersey, which was about 25 years ago, I left the UFO world around 2004, somewhere around there. And that's when Ancient Aliens started and all these other people came out speaking. Well, if you ever went to the UFO conferences, I lectured with Global Sciences. They had the top speakers from around the world come. And they did it like every 3 or 4 times a year in different parts of the United States. But one person was always killed going there. All right. the last one I did with the person I did my shows with, who was the main speaker, he got a letter from NASA saying, this is a warning. Please sit back and watch what's happening. You have no right to interfere with what's going to happen. This is not a threat. This is just a warning. All right. That person worked for NASA. He also was taken out. All right. And he had like 4 different degrees, everything else. He was involved with that spaceship that they put up in space with all the information from people on it and things. But people, I knew the cool people in the UFO world. The cool people that were talking about the truth, that dealt with the truth. Not just telling stories and, well, I was there and I saw it. If you saw something, why didn't you come out when you saw it? Well, I saw Jesus. Well, does anybody care now? Of course not. I mean, when you see something and it has a chance of helping reality, you release it. But most UFO people, oh, I might lose my pension, so I can't say nothing about it. I might be put away as crazy. I mean, all the excuses that people had in the UFO world not to come out and tell the truth. Even, I'm not going to say his name, the people out there speaking right now. The people telling stories are liars. The top speakers years ago, I hate to say everybody's name, and I'm not good at names, but I have them all written down. But people that tell stories about the alien showed them the past, present, and future, well, he lied. He said the world was going to be destroyed in 2 years. Another one, too, that went out to, I'm not focusing on his name, but he went out to James Gillen's ranch and everything, and I warned him about going out there. I said, you're going to be attacked if you go there. Sure enough, he changed completely when he went there. But in the interim, he said the world was going to be destroyed, too. All these people coming up with these things, the Mayan calendar supposedly show the world getting destroyed. All these things happened. Nothing happened. Aliens want this world, people, whether you understand that or not. They need this world. Certain alien races. There's 3 races that can live here. Only one lives here. All right. Now, I'm not going to go into the races outside of the 9. There's 27 races dealing with this planet. Putin spoke about it. And Bob Dean, who was the top clearance in the UFO world, and I'm not going to go into his people he was working with and everything else that I know personally. All right. What was going on? They used the number 27 races. All right. I was friends with another woman in the UFO world, became pretty famous for a while until she died. Anna Hayes. She wrote 2 UFO books in a month. And she was traveling and lecturing. But she said she was dealing with hundreds of alien races and blah, blah, blah. But people, there's no good alien race. Start there. All right. They never helped the human. Right? What they gave to Fred Bell, I mean, when he was dealing with the HARP system and everything, he was working with a particular race. I call them the Pleiadians, and they're us from the future. All right. It's not like they're a different race. All right. They managed to become more clairvoyant and different things, but they're still human looking. All right. Billy Meyer's race was the Pleiadians. All right. They're human looking. All right. Now, the tall whites aren't human looking for size and color and all that. And the tall whites are not human looking per se. So when people say, well, they're like we talk about hybrids. Hybrids are, most of them are people that want to be something. All right. And the other word that they used years ago, which kind of disappeared, it was called walk-ins. Well, I walked into a body. Now, there's a famous woman who claimed to come from Mars, Anunnaki, or whatever, but she claimed she came to Earth at 7, took on a body, and she lectures still. She had almost died 2 years ago. She's still lecturing. She lectures at Manchester as well as some friends of mine. And but she said she came down with the 7 aliens, that 7 people from there, including the one the White House took in. All right, I'm not going to go into all these details, but it's not fake, and nobody talks about it because they have no awareness of the real truth going behind. Now, the United States to every other country is different. The United States was dealing with aliens always. All right, the government was, not people, not you and me, Joe Schmo down the street. Now, we were being abducted and used, but not in a compatible situation. Tesla worked with an alien race, all right, and I'll tell you, in New Jersey. 1900, he was releasing 200 inventions, 50 of the most deadliest weapons he gave to the United States. He didn't go to college and learn that. People, he admitted, I saw his personal notes, and he said, I was working with a race. Einstein said he worked with a race in a vision. So I don't know his story. I mean, I'm not friends with him, didn't know much about him. I mean, everybody thinks he's super smart, which he isn't. He stole so much stuff from other countries. Never mind, he worked with an alien race who gave him false information. All right. A lot of the things Einstein came up with were lies. But I know Tina wants to go, so I'm going to let her talk about her book. Well, I'll be back.
Hi guys, yeah, sorry, just before we go, I know Tommy is very religious, and so is a few friends of mine. So John has just reminded me about the passing of the Pope this week since Easter. So I'd like to send on behalf of the Encounter Show our condolences to the Catholic faith and the loss of the Holy Man, the Pope. So you have our sincere condolences. On another note, we'll be back next Thursday. So if you guys, please, it's good to see you guys come back. It's good to see our old following coming back after an absence where I've been ill. So I do apologise for that, guys. Again, if you'd like to come on to the show, please email Tommy. Tommy's had his email up there, hawksblood1@aol.com. Message Tommy, come on to the show. You can, we can interview you if you have an experience, or if you'd like us, to ask us questions. We absolutely love that. We're into that. We can answer to the best of our abilities. If you have an answer or question from a previous show, please let us know, and we're always ready to do our best to try and help other people seeking help. But for this week, like I said, read everything you can. My book is available for free. You can get it on Kindle Unlimited for free. You can get it on Kindle as well, and you can also just buy it on Amazon. There it is. It's called The Bonded: The Truth About Alien Abduction. There's me, T.A. Bragg. And there's my RBSN number on the back if you'd like to get a quick snap of that. There you go. So yeah, you can get that on Amazon, Kindle, and Kindle Unlimited. Again, Kindle Unlimited is for free. I think it's £10 on Amazon, and it's just about my account. So I don't talk about other people's account. This is what it's actually like to be abducted, not an abductee, or what I've remembered from my account. So if you'd like that, it's like £10 if you want to buy the book, or it's free on Kindle, or you can buy it on Amazon. Also, I've got another book available called The Guardians of the Light and the Brotherhood of the Night. There's the T.A. Bragg, very good book, fantasy book, absolutely brilliant. But again, guys, I'd love to see you next week. But go out in the sky at night when you get clear. Yeah, thank you, John. When you got a clear night, go out with. I've only got my phone at the moment where I've not been well. I can't stay out too long if it gets you all cold, or I could be very sick. But go outside with your camera and take a picture of the night sky. Tommy does, and you'd be surprised what you can see. Zoom in your picture and you'll see us. But for now, for Tina Bragg, guys, keep looking up, and we'll see you next week. Have those questions ready, and me and Tommy will be here. Bye, guys, and thank you for coming on to the show. Bye, Tommy.
Thank you, Tina.
Bye, guys.
Stay safe for a week.
Thank you.
All right, Tina Bird, great person. Not a storyteller, telling the truth as far as she knows that she's going to be going through a hypnotic set thing to see and pull out some information that she might not remember or might not know. But hopefully that'll be soon. Now, getting back to where I was, people, people don't like me because people don't want the truth. They like living in lies, they like living in stories, and they like living in a program that they're programmed with. I lost my partner who I did all my UFO stuff with, and it's always something different what stops it. People don't want the truth. People tell lies, and I don't like liars. But getting back to where I was going with all this stuff, all these people out there telling stories, unuseful information. The Mayans, the Aztecs, the Egyptians had zero truth about spiritual sides. I don't get into the spiritual side on this show. I know Tina is kind of like not into it, but she doesn't believe in anything because nothing ever helped her, and nothing still is helping her. I mean, angels, all those deities, or all those kind of words, even a good alien. But then again, I tell her on and off, I really believe aliens are keeping her alive. She's exposed to a lot of radiation, more than most people. All right. She had all the symptoms 3 years ago when we first started doing our show. She was losing her nails, losing her hair, losing her teeth. She'd fall down and half her body would turn black and blue. All these things. But suddenly she's still hanging out, still alive. I mean, she's going to the hospital almost every month. But she is and was exposed to large doses of radiation. Give me 1 second. Let me let this guy in. Sorry about that. Well, now, and I'm not egotistical. You might think I am, and the only reason I am because I'm an experiencer with real experiences, and I was with people and different things. I was with a person. We filmed more UFOs than any other person in the United States from 1996 to 2000. All right. And we showed him. We were showing him. I did Kerry Cassidy's show for 9 months, and I brought him on with me. All right. We showed about 5 pictures every week of UFOs. UFOs, not Tic Tacs. All right. We had a video. We did a show called Strange Universe. All right. But what happened was, and I say it this way, he sold out to the government. All right. From what he used to be to what he is now, he's claiming to be a disciple of Jesus, claiming he has an important mission and all that. Well, Jesus' mission didn't help the world. It created a bunch of zombies. They have no clue what Jesus was teaching, what he came for, or anything else really important, and especially about God. I do that on a separate show because, like I said, I don't try to make this a spiritual show. Aliens are not spiritual. They don't have feelings and emotions like humans do. All right. And the people I work with, and I work with thousands, and I didn't write books on it. I don't write books on UFOs. I did write a simple manual, and it's free, how to see a UFO. Simple techniques. If you want to see a UFO, it's real easy. Willing to put in 2 weeks, I guarantee you'll see a UFO. All right. Never mind multiple things. Everybody I know is in Hawaii is seeing multiple weird things. My friend filmed 12 ships coming out of the ground. They came up like this, went around in a circle, right out into space. He filmed the whole thing. All right. Now, the motherships, everybody I know did not film them. I will tell you this. In the UFO world, Tina mentioned the word psychic. All right. Clairvoyant. I mean, there's a lot of words you could use. But they can read your mind from wherever they are. And I'll tell you why. When I'm filming a ship and I get the camera blinked on them, they disappear. Just like that. Some ships want to be filmed. But again, they don't let you see too much real action. I hit one with a green laser. It was a yellow light. It turned green for about 3 seconds, turned back yellow, hit with a laser again, turned green again. But I didn't have a camera on it. All the coolest things, the person I did all my UFO stuff with, we were on top of a mountain. This giant light ship came down, went right into the ground, maybe 150 yards from us. It was nighttime, it was about 12 midnight. Went there the next morning, not a spot on the ground where it went into the ground. All right. I was on Long Island. John Ford filmed the UFO crash. I went where it crashed. The government had the army came in, but it was actually the fire department that closed off the area and the police. In documents on the police files and stuff, they're not allowed to walk into a UFO scene. Really, it's in their book. My brother-in-law was a cop, and he showed it to me. They have to block it off, but they're not allowed to go inside. FEMA has to go inside. Well, when the fire on Long Island happened, when John Ford filmed the ship crash, they let it burn for 2 weeks. I don't know if you ever went to Long Island. It's flat land, and it's not like giant jungles or anything like that where a fire could burn for weeks, especially right along the ocean where they got these water boats that shoot water and things like that. Could have never really happened. But that 2 weeks that it was going on, they blocked off the roads about 2 square blocks where the ship crashed and came in. It was not in the middle of the city, though. And I went there. And I mean, after the fire, I went there and I saw the runway where the ship came in, notched out all the trees. The trees were all burnt, but you could see the chomp marks on both sides of the streets, on both sides where it came in. All right. Now, he was arrested, and they said he was going to put uranium inside toothpaste and kill people in government. They said he had a barrel of uranium, and then they arrested him, and they realized couldn't do that, so they put him in a nut house. He's still alive. He's still in a nut house. Had about 6 different lawyers trying to get him out. John Ford. I don't know where his brain's at now because he gets UFO magazines and stuff. If he's trying to get out, he can't talk about that stuff anymore, or he shouldn't. They evaluate him every year and say they have to reevaluate him, meaning they keep him in jail in a nut house another year. But that's just one person. My other friend who worked for NASA, who came over my house to look at UFO pictures and stuff, his whole family disappeared 3 days later. The kids disappeared from school, the family disappeared from the house, and they were gone. He worked for NASA. He designed parts for the space shuttle. Any part they needed, he would make it. He had this giant 20-ton machine that could make anything, which he did. And we were going to create a private community where we wouldn't have to leave because anything broke, he would fix it, and we wouldn't have to leave the community. And we were supposed to get together 3 days later, and I never saw him again. His phone was left on for a year. I worked for the phone company, even though it wasn't connected to anything. His recording came on, and I said, let him go. What are you doing to him? Never happened from that. But I can go on with stories like that, the people that I met, people I dealt with. One of my friends that I made friends with was on the other side of the island here in Hawaii. His father worked in the HARP system. And we got one here. We got one on the other island as well. All right. He was going to give me a DVD inside. Well, he no longer worked in the store a week later. And they wouldn't give me information about him or anything else. I think they just took him inside because he was too smart, because my computer was locked. They broke into my computer and took everything, but I couldn't get in it. So he figured out how to get inside my computer for me. But then he said, well, look, I'll give you the DVD. He supposedly sent it to me, which I never got. I went back to the store. He goes, oh, no, I'll send it to you again. And I never got it. And then he was gone. People in the UFO world, if you're telling the truth, don't ask me why I'm still here, but if you're telling the truth and go out there publicly and make money or a big speaker, you disappear. Bill Snyder was murdered, not committed suicide. All right, all these people, Fred Bell disappeared. No, he was killed as well. And I can tell you this, they put a tracker with a Terminator cell inside every person that works for the high government. All right, meaning they can take them out whenever they need to, which they do. In my UFO speaking world, I met with a person who actually worked for the Navy. Well, his family, not him. He's in jail. They framed him for murder. He was a Navy captain, and he was going to release the UFO files, and they put him in jail as a murderer, and he's still in jail. People, when you expose too much truth, I'm not going to say a particular name, one person that says he's still working for the government, guess what? They can't say anything, and they don't. If you ever listen to Fred Bell, when he was on, people would come on, well, I can't say certain things. Well, what can you say? I mean, what doesn't matter? It's always useless information. Area 51 is still a top secret base, no matter what people say. Nothing's going on there. Oh, they didn't do this. Oh, they did this. They did that. Where's the proof? Now, if you got a computer, you can go online, type alien interrogation, watch the whole series. It's real. It was a real interrogation of an alien. Whitney Schreiber was watching. He goes, oh, what did they do to the alien? What did they do to the alien? All right, watch it. He was being interrogated. The alien said a lot of bull. Realize they can only tell what they know, which is very little, about spiritual things, the beginning of the planet, the same as our government, with their words of black hole, Big Bang, are lies. That's not how the world got created. That's not how humans got created. All the stories you believe and told. When we were little, it was what? The missing link. Well, we came from cavemen, which we didn't either. Every story we were ever fed was never close to the truth. Now, let's go back to the Bible days. I can talk about it. Tina's not here. Jesus was walking, telling the truth about a real God. But you're dealing with, I hate to say the words, what they were: farmers, fishermen, horseshoe people, farriers, and things like that. They didn't have many words in their vocabulary. They didn't know much. Talking about a God which kings and rulers had multiple gods, they knew nothing about what could be a real God. And the word before that was deities. Hindu, the first religion on the planet, were dealing with deities which are real. I work with 3, so I know they're real, and they are real. But they were, I would say this in general, Hinduism was based on sex and was all about sex. The deities were about sex as well. Shiva, Durga, Kali, all of them. All right. Where are we going? Where we come from? Lies, stories, false teachings, false truth. Now, when Musk comes out saying he wants to go to Mars, he has no clue about what's going on. I've been trying to get in touch with him. I could talk to him about certain things he needs to know, but he's not getting back to me for real. I just think everybody's afraid to talk to me because everybody I talk to disappears. And that could be a main good reason. If I knew my friend was talking to the government, talking, and everybody that I talk to the government takes out, I'd be afraid to talk to that person. All right. But the thing is, my ex-partner sold out. Everything we had online, everything that was everywhere was taken down. He doesn't mention it. He does his videos once in a while. He's in La La Land, claiming first he said he was an angel, now he's saying he's a disciple of Jesus and he's got this important mission and all that kind of stuff. Sadly to say, people, Jesus' mission wasn't what anybody even knows what it was. Because they didn't understand a God, didn't want to understand a God, and as far as reincarnation, there's very few people that truly understand it. The people that claim to know that, well, I can come back and be this. No, you can't. Karma. Buddha was right about karma. It affects us greatly. But people, I could go on, but I'm not. Not today. If you want the truth, you want more truth, send me an email, hawksblood1AOL.com, HAWKSBLOOD1AOL.com. I will get back to you, or how to see God, or the truth of God only. Any one of those sites of mine. But I don't deal with lies. I don't deal with people that lie, and I don't promote lies. We're in trouble. Who's controlling? I didn't want to get into all that. Tina stayed around a little bit longer today. I'm surprised. But look, I will do another show probably in a couple days. If you're interested, tune in. Send this link to everybody you know. There's so much I want to get into. Based on the truth, based on what we need to know, should know, and look what's going to happen. Who do you think is controlling the richest people? Why are they different than us with money? Money is a root to evil. Who created money? Why do we have money? I can go into that whole story. But money changes everything. Cindy Alpha song. And it does. It changes your mind. Crystallizes parts of your brain. All right. Jesus said it 3 times in the Bible. And I'm not a religious person. I was going to become a preacher, but decided that's nowhere because they don't tell the truth. But Jesus said 3 times in the Bible, it's easier for a camel to go through an eye of a needle than a rich person to get into heaven. Why would he say that? Especially then. I mean, how many people were rich in those days? Not many. So it's critical. The same as today. No different. What? 3% of the planet are rich multi-billionaires? It's growing. And Musk just put up a site how to make $800, $700 a day and become a millionaire, and you don't have to be anything. I mean, he's going out in all levels. Realize he has a disease. I don't know if I'm going to say it right, but it's Asperger's, the way I say it, and it's pretty sad sickness. But it's why he is the way he is and the way he acts. All right? I don't even know what kind of disease Trump has. But they say he's perfectly healthy, but he's on medicine. All right? But the way he thinks, what he's doing, morals, is there a word? Well, we lost the word morals years ago. There was a magazine came out when I was younger called Morals. But, mankind doesn't have morals anymore. And the only morals I think children learn: thou not cheat, shouldn't steal, and shouldn't lie. What else do they learn about morals? About women, about relationships, about anything else? Nothing. School doesn't teach it. Parents don't know it. They don't know about protection from demons, entities, spirits, and all the things that Mr. Tesla brought into this world greatly. I mean, he didn't bring everything in, but he brought a lot more in when the Philadelphia experiment happened, and it was real. When it happened, they opened a porthole. And there's whole portholes around the world, but not like the one that was created in New Jersey. Tesla's invention, at the time, Philadelphia experiment, created it. And it allowed all these entities, creatures, and stuff that everybody's filming and seeing now into this planet. It's not just about money. It's not just about trying to survive. Well, that's you're forced into, but you should be realizing, what's next? Where do I go when I die? Am I doing the right thing? And what's the right thing? Who do you listen to? What is the right thing? What's right and wrong? All those things have real answers, but people don't want the truth. What creates karma? What gets rid of karma? Going to a psychic, going to a priest, going to a rabbi, going to a minister? No. Doing 1,000 Hail Marys? No. How do you get rid of karma? Be good. How do you be good? Well, I gave a homeless person money. People, aliens are here, and they have been, but they have not been guiding humans in any good way, really. With that, people, till next time, Tommy Hawksblood here, calling from the Big Island of Hawaii. All right, please send this link to everybody you can. It was a pleasure. Tina is doing good. I hope she sticks around with me for a while. Till next time, love, light, peace, compassion, whatever you need in your life. Don't stop, but don't take anything less. Bye.